Hello everyone. A couple of videos ago I had a topic on Chuck Schuldiner flaws in songwriting, and it's very easy to point fingers and say this is fucked up, this should be better, but I thought it would be fun to try to tackle it on and see what I would do to piece some of the segments together that seem kind of unrelated. So I want to start with the Philosopher. In the video that I had posted, it seems like the tapping intro really has nothing to do with the part following, aside from it sounding cool and giving that kind of pompous vibe that I think the subject matter is trying to address. But I wanted to tie together the first actual riff and that tapping part by having some kind of continuity between the melody line and have it not seem so piecemeal. So I'm going to show you what I just recorded and kind of explain it afterwards. Okay, so I did a very basic MIDI drum of the intro part on drums. I didn't put any of the fills in because I'm super fucking lazy. I just kind of wanted to get the point across here. So I recorded the tapping part as it is, except for I extended the outro of it to give kind of a more of a dynamic to the next riff following. But I'll play it for you and then I'll explain what I did afterwards. To tie these two parts together is to mimic the basic theme that you hear in the verse riff and have it play over the tapping part instead, because as it stands right now you just have these octaves playing underneath that tapping riff that just kind of anchor the root notes, but they don't actually enhance the part so much, whereas if you put in an actual melody line you can both enhance the part and do a little foreshadowing of the riff that's going to be appearing next. So as it stands right now, it's played like this. And by doing the change that I did, you're kind of getting that same kind of feel that you get from the verse riff, which is... I wanted to kind of mimic that and have it tie it together. I think that really makes it a lot more of a cohesive passage. Another thing that kind of struck me about this riff all the million times I've heard it is that opening note that feels like it would come at the end of a phrase instead of just starting the phrase. So normally the riff would feel to me like... So I missed a palm beat in there, but whatever. It kind of has that feeling where the actual beginning of the riff ends on that low D. So what I did was I extended the tapping line at the end to have this little bit of a dramatic feel where the guitars kind of hang out longer than they do, and then the riff kind of starts on where, not on where the natural one would fall, but on the beat before it to kind of give that like landing in place feel. And what I did over that part that I had written and extended is I mimicked the... Where is it at? I kind of just took that and did it on the 3rd fret of the... It's just the A string. I don't play in D tuning much. So by having that played over that lead melody that I wrote over the top, I'm foreshadowing the picking pattern that you're going to be hearing next, and it also nicely lands in a descending chromatic way into that next riff. So it's just a few simple things that I did to kind of tie them together, but I think it's a lot more cohesive than to just have this like regal sounding tapping riff slammed right up against that verse riff. You know, it's fine. They're two good riffs, so you can get away with that. But tying them together is where the real craft of songwriting lands. And not a whole lot of newer bands are grasping that concept. And as you can see here, a lot of older bands couldn't grasp it either. But I write music that's kind of all over the place to the ear to a lot of people, but I try to keep a sense of melodic continuity by introducing the passages of the next one in the riff you're hearing, foreshadowing in a way where if you're either hearing the rhythm or you're hearing kind of a snippet of the melody you're about to hear. If you're writing complicated music, it's important to kind of tie it together in a way where you're leading the listener through your passages so that you have kind of a cohesive thought. You can have it bursting at the seams with ideas if you're able to tie it together nicely where point A to point Z matters in a logical format. And as the Philosopher stood for all these years, it really didn't have that for me. But I think that just a few simple things like this can really tie it together in a way where you have much more of a concrete vision, and it'll be a little bit more timeless in terms of if you're going to hum this song, you're probably going to have that disconnect in your head where you know the riffs, you can hum the riffs, but you're not going to be able to hum the song in a way where it just feels cohesive. And that's really important when you're trying to string a song together. You want to have that melody line that ties things together. So I think what I'm going to do is to make a few more videos showcasing the other Death songs that I thought I had presented a lot of compositional issues with, and see how I could piece those together as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.